And we're live. Yes, love it. Let's hope that my Wi-Fi is going to give me nice non-glitchy screen. So I'm going to wait for you guys to chime in. I don't do enough live broadcasts, so you guys don't know when the heck I'm on board, but now I am. All right, guys, so I want to do a post paleo effects chat with you, kind of talk about the latest and the greatest stuff I've heard about and how to get into ketosis faster. All right, so you guys may or may not know. Hey, everyone. Hey, guys. So nice to see you, Juliet and Anna and Tanya. Awesome. Hey, Elena from Minnesota. How are you today? How are you guys? How you doing? Barrett, hey, hey. Hello, everyone. And I know that I'm not getting the people from Europe. I'm sorry, guys. I'm doing a later broadcast. But I'm getting the people from Asia and Australia. What's up, everyone? So we got 41 people in the chat, and I'm going to talk to you guys about ketosis. I'm going to talk to you about my experience with one's keto adaptation and my experience. What's up, Richard? With lots of people coming in. Hey guys, with thank you, Leslie. My experience with going to Paleo FX. So as you guys are chiming in, I'll say hello, and I'm going to start right away because when you guys watch the replay, you're like, get to it, girl. Seriously. All right. Thumbs up. Don't forget. Thumbs up, right? Okay, guys. Yes, thumb love. Thumb love. So what it does, the likes actually give more visibility to your broadcast actually while you're posting and post. So it's really important to give some thumb love. Hi, Laura. Hi, everyone. Okay, so what I want to talk to you about some of the things that I learned at being at this big conference. So I'm not just some girl in a workout top talking about keto, that I've got some semblance of credibility. Yes, butter. Okay. One of the things that I want you guys to know is the reason why I do wear the workout clothing is because you can go back videos going 8 years and see that I didn't gain weight and, pop out of ketosis, hide, and then pop back when I'm looking better and doing this foolery that you might be seeing on the internet. So, excuse me, let me get some water. I'm talking all day long. All right, we got 59 people in the chat. What's going on? Let's say, hey, room, I know. It's my bike. See, I ride a bike in crazy LA where I almost get hit every day. But with that said, so I went to this conference about a week and a half ago now, which was in Austin, Texas. Oh, what's up, Pamela? Hey, Mickey. Oh yeah, what? Okay, sorry, I'm just looking at the comments that are like, it's tiny and I'm standing so far away from my phone. But I went to this conference at Paleo Effects, and normally, thank you, you love the business, thank you, I work hard for it. Typically, this is a paleo event. Now, you guys may not know the difference between, what? Huh? Question mark. You guys may or may not know the difference between, hey, thank you, Mandy, I appreciate it, really do. You guys may or may not know the difference between ketogenesis and paleo, right? They're very linear in some aspects because we're talking the paleo diet is supposed to mimic the Paleolithic era. But keto is actually the same thing in that context. The thing is that the dietary trend is separate from the actual biology in some aspects. Oh, you lost 30 pounds from my vids. All right, well, let's hope it wasn't muscle. Let's hope that you actually got some ketone production and viability. So before I take your questions, I just want to hit the subject of how to adapt quicker, but I want to just do a little intro on what I noticed at the Paleo FX. All right, so here we go. So what I noticed or not what I noticed, I'm sorry, the difference is that the paleo diet, which I should actually do just a normal video on the difference between the two, you're not actually using ketones. So with the paleo diet, you can still have root vegetables, you can still have carrots, you can still have vegetables and fruits high in carbohydrate, which will not allow viable ketone production and use. So your brain is still dependent on glucose because think about it like this, you guys. You did not grow up on ketones or starving, most of us, and cyclically going into ketosis. We are instantly introduced to carbohydrates. Even some doctors put a drop of sugar on the tongue of newborns to get them to stop screaming and crying. Preach, sister. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, wait, let me see here. All right, so Liza, thank you. All right, so immediately in the baby foods, which we know are like mushed. Well, sometimes they're peas and sometimes it's fruit, but we're very quickly introduced to either fructose or sugar or carbohydrates, and the brain becomes addicted to it. So when you switch from a standard American processed food diet to a paleo diet, you're not gonna produce viable ketones. And your brain is still going to want to use glucose. So if you don't have it every couple of hours, you could go into catabolism. Whereas being ketotic, you don't break down amino acids to then fuel the fledgling brain as you're in a higher state of ketosis or being keto adapted. So when you haven't eaten something, your brain doesn't freak out and start breaking down amino acids from skin and collagen. Yes, your collagen from bone marrow and muscle. It literally just goes to the restaurant here, right? And burns the fat and leaves the muscle alone. And that is how I gain 15 pounds of muscle on the keto diet. So people think there's so much garbage on the internet. I want to clear all this stuff up right now. Yes, babies are often born in a sort of lower state of ketosis because mother's milk is so fatty. Yes, you guys are all like, well, the breast milk is filled, ketones are made from the liver, so it's not, the breast milk doesn't have ketones, it just has fat. But with that said, you guys, so now keto has become a trend. How long have I been on the internet? A long time. People can't even find me now because there are so many people yak about keto. But I've been around so long, and this is the reason I've been coaching people, and this is the reason why I'm being invited and have a book contract and book deal. I'm being invited and asked to speak more on the subject because I have a lot of experience with it. Okay, so I go there to the Paleo event, which is all about still eating carbohydrates, and you can see that there are rumblings like on keto. So I literally got stopped every 5 seconds with people like, oh my God, talk to me about keto, you're the keto girl, and so forth and so on. So that was very rewarding because I was brought to a panel, brought to speak to the Paleo Effects at the last minute when all the speakers had already been assigned to all of the different talks and events. So they literally squished me in at the last minute, and it was like the room was bleeding out of people, all these paleo people who wanted to know more about keto. So it was really awesome. With that said, I was on a panel with two people I really had been following for a long time, which is Nora Gagaudis and Rob Wolf, who's a paleo guy traditionally. Okay, so I'm going to get to things like adrenal issues and all that in a minute. So with that said, you see this? Fight or flight, sirens. All right, guys, we got 84 people in the chat and only 31 likes, and it's not like I'm trying to be a thumb liker pusher, but you guys, I'll get more visibility if you guys give me some thumb love. So if you don't mind, it would be awesome. I promise I'm not selling any cars. All right, I know sirens again. Okay, so with that said, kidney issues I will talk about. You got kidney issues, breast pain, but I just want to thank you, Juliet. She's like, and give me some thumb love. We're at 50. Can we hit 85, because there are 85 people in the chat. Can we guys get up to at least 80, right? Because we've got 88 people now in the chat. All right, so with that said, with me going over there, done, thank you. With me going there, it was really great because all of these, like Dr. Mercola and Mark Sisson and Ben Greenfield and all of these huge sort of paleo people are now becoming keto. But it's in my impression that they look at other studies and other reports, whereby I've just been in the field with everybody figuring out all of these weird things. So I think I've said this in another video. The problem is that thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. But then now there's 90 people in the chat and only 65. So I must have gotten a lot of newbies right now going like, where's this girl going? Well, I'm gonna break it down. All right? I'm gonna break it down. So here we go. Now, a lot of the problems with keto is that people don't know how much fat, what kind of fat. They don't understand, like the carbohydrate count, that's pretty easy. But they don't really understand the grams of fat, how much fat. They don't understand, are you actually in ketosis? We had this on the panel talk. I was on a panel with Nora Gaudis, who's in the Magic Pill, which is on Netflix right now. So I'm like, 10 years ago when I was researching keto to stop my mother's glioblastoma, she had stage 4 brain cancer. She's still alive today because people keep asking me what stage was she in. And I'm like, they gave her 3 months, maybe 6 months to live, and she's alive 10 years later. So with that said, thank you so much. Thank you. So with that said, the way I even got into this was doing a lot of research to stop cancer growth, right? So I didn't do it for weight loss or any of those reasons. I literally did it to stop my mother from dying, which is why I've become so strict. No, cholesterol is not a concern. I'll explain that. Which is why I've become so strict, because when you're doing it for weight loss, there's a lot of confusion on if you're actually ketotic. So back in the day, people were saying to use urine strips. Urine strips don't work because it's an indication of your body releasing ketones into the urine. So people who actually are ketotic on a urine strip, it should actually be clear. So that's really one thing that you guys need to understand. A blood glucometer, they're just starting to really be used now. And still, people really don't understand how to use the blood glucometer. So it's a machine that will measure glucose and ketones. Now, because I've worked with almost 3,000 people, you learn a lot just by osmosis. Just that's it. People aren't adapting. Their ketones are too low. They're under A1. We had a discussion, excuse me, I'm like super dry in the throat. Got 96 people in the chat and 73 likes, and if we can get it even higher, at least up to 80, that would be epic. But I think I've got a lot of newbies here. So here's the thing. People really don't know how much fat to eat. Why do you eat fat on a ketogenic diet? Why is it high fat? So we don't have videos out there on YouTube explaining this concept. I mean, people just say percentages and, calories and all this freaking confusing BS. So because I've experimented with every fat, we're talking duck fat, goose fat, we've talked chicken fat, we've gone pork fat, beef tallow, olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, and with all different types. You know what it is? I had incense going before, and it's like irritating my throat. That's what it is. Okay, so hold on, you guys. Yeah, so I'm trying to explain this stuff, and guys, I'm trying to let you know I'm actually talking with the experts. I'm not just pulling this stuff out of my bunghole. So with that said, I literally have tried. So in the beginning, people were not adapting. When I started coaching years ago, this is probably about, I started really coaching people about 8 years ago, and started doing it on myself 10 years ago with my mom. So in the beginning, I did it wrong. I was eating like almond butter and peanut butter as my fats. I wasn't really a big cheese person, but the nut butters are addictive. I was doing a lot of coconut butter, and I was still crashing. I was still having hypoglycemic reactions in the afternoon. So with that said, oh, you're happy to see me live. Thank you. That's awesome. So with that said, I had the fats. Fats were probably, my fats in the very beginning were low. So I was around 150, and I was having this such a hypoglycemic response in that afternoon that I literally bumped it up to 400 grams, and then the hypoglycemic response went away. So I thought that's really weird. Like, I could go up, because in the beginning I wasn't using a glucometer. They didn't even talk about a glucometer in the very beginning. And my hypoglycemia went away. Well, obviously, when I started using a glucometer and started monitoring the fat that I was eating and the types of fat, then I started seeing my ketones go from like a 0.4 up to the range, which is a 1.8 to a 3.0. So with that, and then I noticed if I was going through a menstrual cycle, or if I wasn't feeling well or wasn't sleeping well, my ketones would drop, and also my blood glucose would be wonky. And I started coaching people, and I started to notice that blood sugar goes like this, right? So you have unstable blood sugar all the time. And what you're trying to do is get your body to break down units of fat from your body and convert it from your liver and get it into the bloodstream, past the blood-brain barrier, and also into the Krebs cycle. So in the beginning, when I was coaching people, they were not adapting because I had their fats, initially in the beginning, everybody's fats were too low. I was allowing a lot of coconut oils, MCT oils. If you guys go back, these old videos, I'm talking about MCT oil because everybody else was talking about MCT oil. But then when I actually started coaching people, I started to notice that their ketones remained under a 1.0 on MCTs. And I was like, gosh, that's really weird. Well, let's try all the fats. Let's try avocado oil. A little bit better, but kind of the same thing. But once I started getting people to eat a lot of animal fat, the ketones went boom. And this is on hundreds of people because I consult people every day. And if you're doing it every day for 8 years, you're going to learn something just by osmosis. Now, with that said, I then started realizing that people have a thing called histamine intolerance. And I found this out because early on, 8 years ago, I was talking to a woman who was scratching through her whole consultation. And I said, do you mind if I ask you what's going on? And she said, I've got really bad eczema. I've had it my whole life. And I had read a little bit about eczema. And I said to her, have you ever thought of rotating your foods or cutting some stuff out? So I said, okay, let's cut out all this food and let's rotate and get back to me. And so she came back to me, and we actually had another Skype consultation, and she was crying. And she said it was the first time in her entire life that she slept through the night because she had eczema since she was a baby. And I was like, whoa. So when we switched out all of these inflammatory foods, then her blood sugar stabilizes and her ketones rose. And that was a woman that really hit me in the head, right? Because I started really learning about eczema, skin issues, shingles, rashes, acne, like all of that goes to the gut. Now I can go online and you can have people talk about the gut, but people don't do gut, thyroid, low testosterone, estrogen dominance, all these types of issues, acne, depression, anxiety with keto. And athletes or people who've got injuries, people don't like combine all these things together. So I'm an athlete. So my biggest fear when I first did keto was on national TV. Thank you. My first concern about being an athlete, so I say this in every video because people don't think that I'm the age that I'm at. So you guys, in 4 months, I'm going to be 51 years of age, right? So one of my YouTube videos, this guy was like, yeah, you're really natty. And I was like, dude, if I were on something, I would be huge. I would be massive. So I'm not. This is me unflexed, right? If I flex, this is me flexed. So I'm looking a lot bigger. So you guys can see how big I am. I'm not a big girl. I'm 5'3". So with that said, I started learning about the adrenals, right? Well, when you have hot flashes in women who are, so I'm turning 51. So my concerns were, I used to be a pro skater. So my concerns were like injuries, inflammation. I was worried about my menstrual cycle. I was worried about my thyroid, adrenal issues, sleeping, all of these things that make you become more in a parasympathetic state in the evening, sympathetic in the day, but just more homeostatic. So these are the things that I personally was worried about, right? So I wasn't worried about like gaining weight or losing weight. I didn't give a frack. I don't care. I just want to be strong, right? Mentally, acuity, everything on point. And I wanted to make sure that my menstrual cycle continued so I could have the balance of hormones. And men, this goes for you too. A lot of you guys are having too low levels of total testosterone, which is probably one of the biggest reasons why you're not getting the gains at the gym. But you're trying to do keto at the same time as trying to do gains. And another thing that I learned, this title of this video really should be titled What I've Learned, but it will get you into ketosis faster with the information that I'm going to give. And then I will literally go, you need to do X, Y, Z to get into ketosis faster. But with that said, sorry, I'm just looking at the comments really, really quick. With that said, a lot of what I've learned is that if you have holes in the gut wall, so a lot of you guys have too low HCl levels in your stomach, that's the hydrochloric acid, the acid. So if you don't have enough of that, how are you going to actually break down your macronutrients to then become absorbed into the bloodstream and be used? So that was a real problem because I started to notice that people's stool was floating. Stool should not float. That means that there's fat in the stool floating it. And that means you're not using ketones. So I would coach people that would have their ketones between a 1.8 and a 3.0 and still they were feeling exhausted, their hair was falling out, and their blood sugar was in range. And I started realizing, oh my goodness, no, oh my God, here's what's going on. They're making ketones. They're great ketone makers, but their body's not uptaking it into the cells to be used. It's ending up in the toilet, and then the poop is floating. Yes. And then now if your ketones are in range, right? Because you go see the experts talk about keto, and even at the Paleo FX, they're like, oh yeah, if you're above a 0 or 0.5, you're ketotic, you're in ketosis, and then it confuses everyone because no one talks about if you're actually using these ketones or not. No one's talking about that. And I think that's a big confusion on the internet. So if your stool is floating, you're not using a lot of ketones, guys. Your body will use all that fat for everything: structure, skin, brain, the inside of your lungs, the inside of the lining of your cells. And okay, your hair's falling out. I'll get to that, definitely. I'll talk about how to raise your HCl levels in your stomach so you can digest better. A lot of you guys who are vegan and vegetarian, unfortunately, if you don't eat protein, it's very expensive to, I mean animal protein, it's very expensive for your body to create the hydrochloric acid, the peptides, the enzymes to then break down protein, because that's what HCl typically does, is break down protein. And then it can also break down your other macronutrients and your micronutrients. The problem is that through alcohol, poor sleep, your blood sugar being up and down, slamming up and down and up and down and up and down, caffeine, the standard American diet, clearly, not getting enough sleep, those levels drop. Not eating enough protein, those levels drop. And what you guys don't understand is that high HCl levels helps kill pathogens and bacteria in the body and viruses. So a lot of us are like fighting inflammation from like candida or parasites, or just your immune function is low because you don't have enough gut biome, healthy gut bacteria to fight off things. So people don't understand like, oh, this person gave me a cold. No. It's not that they gave you a cold. It's the fact that your immune system sucks. So when you're around people who are infected, you're going to be. And that's a big thing that we don't understand. So if you are fighting an infection inside the body and you're trying to keto adapt at the same time, you might notice that either you're not producing enough ketones or your blood sugar's super unstable. It's either high or way too low, or the glucose and ketone numbers don't match up in sync to be in ketosis. And then, of course, you might notice that sometimes your stool floats. Now, your stool is not going to float all the time if you're not eating a lot of fat. It's fat that makes it float. And that's when people find out, oh, I didn't know I had leaky gut. Or the fact that, women, people don't know that they're bloated. A lot of people are overweight. Now, when I'm bloated, you see it in 2 seconds, right? Because I'm lower in body fat as a woman. And so if my stomach's out to here, you're going to see it if I'm having gut dysbiosis. So in the beginning, I was doing a lot of experimentation and learning a lot about thyroid, gut. The whole cholesterol thing's pretty easy to clear up, so I'll go over that in a second. So I wasn't so worried about cholesterol or people with kidney or fatty liver disease, because I've actually worked with people. And the thing that I love, right, because all these other experts, they don't necessarily coach people, right? They write books, they read studies, but they're not actually coaching people and trying a bunch of different experiments. So I am, and I've learned a lot from these experiments. So I've worked with people who've got kidney issues, kidney disease, and liver disease. Lots of people having a fatty liver is very common, unfortunately. So, and with cancer, we're talking multiple sclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis, so many issues that people have got, like fibroids and endometriosis, and people got pancreas issues and Addison's disease, all kind of weird stuff. Low cortisol, diabetes, type 1 and type 2 all day, every day. And I remember when I was first trying to coach people, trying to figure out, can type 1 or type 2s do keto? Or what is ketoacidosis? That's another stupid word that's being thrown around. So when I went to the Paleo effects, okay, so I'll talk about lowering fats and all that. Now you guys gotta remember, ketogenesis, right, is a high fat diet. If you're going to do a lower fat diet, that would be paleo, not keto. So we're trying to make ketones. So the primal brain doesn't give a frack that you want to look aesthetic. No. The body wants to survive, and you guys don't understand this concept. We are constantly munching on muscle. We need it for our red blood cells, right? We make enough glucose through gluconeogenesis for our red blood cells and still can be ketotic. So that's another confused concept. But when people want to lose weight, I'm trying to tell you guys right now, I did all these studies. If your insulin is fracked up, if your pancreas isn't functioning properly, if your insulin receptors aren't doing their jobs, if you don't have enough GLUT4 receptors in your muscle, if you're estrogen dominant, or men, if your testosterone numbers are too low, your total, and you've got too much dihydrotestosterone, if you've got gut permeability problems and like seasonal allergies and all these like manageable things, or IBS or Crohn's, or all these digestive issues, or candida, you're not going to adapt very well. You're not going to lose weight is what I'm saying. The body will reject the viability of those ketones until you deal with all these inflammatory things within the body. And that's what I learned. So in the beginning, people were not adapting. And that is the reason why when you guys look at my videos, you're like, oh, she's so strict. Or there's a reason behind it, guys. And now in the beginning when people found me, there was nothing on the internet. There was zero. You would find me like that. Now there's so much convoluted stuff on the internet, it takes a while before people find me. They're like, oh, I didn't know you existed. I'm like, I existed before all these people existed. Here's the thing though. You have to do a lot of experimentation to come up to some conclusions, some observational studies, and you've got to try everything with all different types of populations, young males, older males, young female, older, this weight, that weight, this damage, no damage, this fat, that fat, this carb, blah, 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 these types of health issues, to come up with understandings of how this actually works, what it's like to actually be in a state of highly adapted state of ketosis or fat adapted. You have to do a lot of stuff before you start to understand how this works, and not just the science, not just mTOR pathways, not just using carnitine to help create to be converted into acetyl CoA so you can get acetoacetate into the bloodstream to be used. All that sciencey stuff don't mean nothing, bruh. None of that means anything if your body's not using the ketones. Okay, so this is what I learned when I went to the Paleo effects. One thing they did have right, they said that people are under eating their macronutrients because of the intermittent fasting trend. People think that you can do intermittent fast, you're going to get into ketosis faster. And there's so much confusion with this, because in the beginning when you fast, your insulin does become regulated. So Dr. Fung is like blah, 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 blah. People don't really, okay, well, what if you got hypoglycemia, right? What if you have a thyroid problem and you start fasting, okay? And what if you got leaky gut and you make the ketones, but you don't use them and the hair starts falling out, right? But we want to control our insulin. Well, your body can have a physiological insulin resistance rebound. And all of a sudden, you go from low blood sugar and low insulin to super high blood sugar and high insulin on keto over time, because Fung didn't think about that. So much marketing out there to get you guys to donate your money. You know what I mean? If you go through my videos, I haven't even monetized my videos. I am the worst capitalist, I'm telling you right now. Because, like, here's a product. I do not work for this guy. I work for no one. Okay? I'm not in any type of affiliate program. Now, I have no problem working and partnering up with companies that I really believe in. But so far, I'm not. Now, there's companies I met at Paleo Effects that really want me to do stuff with them. One was an infrared company, and the other one is another type of technology, but I'm going to do an exclusive video about it. But your phone's dying. That sucks. Okay, so here's a company. It says Sugar-Free Me. This guy just walked up to me. He's like, oh my God, Stephanie, I see you on YouTube, blah, 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 blah. And he's a guy that came up with a product, and you take this, it's like Banaka spray. You spray it in your mouth 5 times. It's concentrated Gymnema sylvestre. And before, Gymnema in capsules wasn't strong enough to kill the sugar, the taste of it, because this kills, you spray this in your mouth, and then when you have sugar, it tastes horrible. Or like sugar, even stevia can make stevia taste like just nothing, useless. And I was like, wow, this is a really smart idea for some of you sugar addicts out there that, you're going to be around a party or a situation, and, you just, because I know people who are so freaking sugar addicted, and a lot of guys too, and you would spray this on your mouth. Now, I don't work for this company at all. I just thought it was really smart. And look how bad the packaging is. I was like, bruh. I was like, yo, this looks like a sample graphic. Like, come up with some nice graphics. This looks horrible. Really, bruh? And you could just see it's a guy that's trying to, but I'm digressing. The point is about understanding what it is to actually keto adapt, how to do it in a safe manner, and how to do it in a quick and safe manner. So this type of stuff really isn't being discussed on the internet. It's like, oh my God, let's lose some weight, and let's, all this weird stuff. It's like really sickening, to be honest, this weight loss insanity thing, when people really don't understand the benefits of actually being ketotic. So I've done this for 10 years. No one, so on the stage with me was, where's my camera? Hold on, you guys, I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you something, or not, let's see here. Just wait a second, guys. I know this is very much an impromptu. Where is it? Okay. I haven't really dumped the talk yet into, I haven't dumped the chat yet. Cool, whatever. It's just a box, who cares? But thank you. But I want to show you guys that I actually was on the panel with some of my favorites. So you see right there, of course, that's the little chocolate bunny right there in the middle. So there is this Keto Gaines guy who keeps telling everybody he's done keto for 18 years. Well, I found that that's not true. And there's Rob Wolf. Where's my finger? Wait. Rob Wolf is, whoa, sorry. Over, he's right next to me in the blue shirt. And Nora Gagatis, who's in The Magic Pill, is the woman with the longer hair, like this one here. Right there. So I'm really, really proud of this thing, you guys. So you can see I'm not just some idiot on the internet. For those who just chimed in, the 127 of you guys. So we spoke about how much protein. We spoke about people under eating their macros on keto. They don't actually adapt because they intermittent fast. They think that they are ketotic because when back in the day when I used to eat carbs, if I didn't eat for 6 hours, your body will start producing ketones. But because we are growing up on grains and processed foods and hybridized and genetically modified fruits, we're getting way more sugar and carbohydrates than what we would get in nature. So the brain becomes crazy addicted to glucose and high levels of it. So when people say I listen to my body, I'm like, well, you might want to listen to a new ear because that other ear got you in trouble. Don't listen to your body anymore. But then at the same time, I'm like, be intuitive. But with that said, we talked about people not eating enough macronutrients. So people are fasting crazy. They're not getting enough protein in. They're not getting enough L-carnitine in. They're not getting enough fat in. And that was a really great discussion with some of these other experts that you guys might respect, or that might have the PhD that you're looking for, who don't wear a half top in a video. But like Paul Chek, he was there as well. This guy Paul Chek, you guys got to Google this guy. He is a trip, but he doesn't care what you think. But he's a genius. And he used to always say, if you're a health expert and you can't do a video like for men, especially shirtless, you shouldn't be talking about anything health-wise. Anyway, but I'm digressing. So you guys can't, people pay like $350 for these tickets. So I can't just I can upload you a few seconds from that chat, but I can't upload that whole thing onto YouTube because I don't think the Paleo Effects, who charges people to go listen to that stuff, is gonna like it. I don't think so. But what I found out by the Keto Gaines guy, who I've always heard over the time that he's been in ketosis for 18 years. But he's telling people to eat like apples, like red apples, and you don't have to you don't have to really be keto. You can cycle it. And I was like, oh, okay. So you haven't really been in ketosis 18 years. Well, guess what? I haven't had an apple, a carrot, a drop of sugar, a drop of alcohol in 10 years. And what I've eaten the most is cruciferous vegetables. That's what I've eaten. Okay? With my fats over 200. Because I want to do this accurately. I want to have the data. So here's another discussion we did on this panel. The question by the moderator was to the panel, these experts, how much protein does a woman need who's an athlete, right, to build muscle? And Keto Gaines and Rob Wolf, I gotta admit, Rob Wolf, I've never met him before. One of the sweetest people I've ever met, ever. So even though we don't have the same ideology, he was a great person. I don't think Keto Gaines liked me too much because I'm a little bit of a pot stir. So Keto Gaines is saying to the audience who are watching, who paid for this elite, stuff, the general public that's at the actual convention, they can't see the talks. They can see all the little products. Hold on, I'm going to do a review on this later, but hold on, guys, I'll show you. So, I think I'm going to do a review. There is just so much. Y'all know there's so much I need to do. And the reason why you guys don't see me make food and do this and share rest, I literally just don't have time. I'm like turning on my phone. I'm not editing. I'm not doing jump cuts or anything. But these are some of the products, and I'm going to do a proper video about this. So let this not be the main video. So here are some travel items I got at booths, which I thought was really, really cool. So these are grass-fed beef sticks, no sugar, y'all. I was like, what? Because I've had so many companies approach me to do some type of partnership, and I don't like their products. I was just really impressed by this company, and they're smart finally to come up with stuff that you can travel with, or if you're on the road. So another one was just bacon in single strips. Was also, or there's 2 pieces of bacon in here. I thought this was very interesting as well. And also finally, which is, I mean, I've been doing this for years. I'm like, why haven't people done these types of products years ago? I mean, seriously. So here is flavored butter. Not that hard, people. People are like, oh my God, so disgusting. How could you eat butter straight? I'm like, it's just like cream cheese, bruh. It's the same stuff. I don't get people and their food fetishes, like their food weird stuff. But here's it's vanilla flavored butter. So you know what does it taste like? It tastes like vanilla frosting. I mean, without the sweetness. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's got one of these tear tops, and you squeeze it in your mouth. I'm going to go over the brands and my experience with all the booths in another video, because this is just a live broadcast. So yeah, and they had olive oil also and tear things, and I've been saying, why don't people do that for years? I've been saying, why don't people do this? So I just want to show you some of the stuff that I got at that event. But anyway, the point is that people want to keto adapt. Most of you guys are doing it wrong. And when I first started coaching, people were super excited. Then I started saying, because I started learning from you guys how sick you are, manageably sick, and I started taking away cheese. Sorry, the person who loves cream cheese. I took away cheese, nuts, caffeine, sometimes even the fermented foods, the sauerkraut, because people are having like really bad gut issues from the sauerkrauts and the fermented foods. So I took it all away, and I was like, rotate your foods, don't eat lean meats. I was like, people are like, oh my God, she's so strict. And then people were making fun of me on Reddit, and they were making fun of me in Facebook groups. Now, this is like 3 years ago now. It's all stopped. People used to screenshot my videos and then tell me that I'm a joke. I don't know anything that I'm talking about. I'm not a PhD. All this garbage nonsense. But who looking fabulous at almost 51? But what? Not them. Because I didn't give up. I didn't take all that trolling that those guys gave me, not to be boisterous. I'm sorry. Can be very soft and quiet too. But no, you don't have to take L-carnitine to adapt, okay? You just have to eat real food. I'm just saying it was a part of the discussion there about L-carnitine. We spoke about, fat, how much fat and all this kind of stuff. But the point that I was saying, I'm digressing a lot. I'm sorry, guys. I just remembered that Keto Gaines was saying, first of all, Keto Gaines he's not like been in ketosis 18 years. That's a lie. He might have been doing it off and on 18 years, but he has not been doing it 18 years. Okay, and it's just now that we're figuring out, understanding the macronutrients, and Steve Finney and Jeff Volek, who put their book out, 8 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, no, more than 6, 7, 8, around that time, really started to understand the viability of ketones. So when someone says that they're in ketosis for 18 years, it probably just meant that they were just eating lower carb, Anyway, are sort of doing an Atkins meat thing, which I'll talk about the carnivore diet again, because so many guys, like, I did a video on the carnivore diet, and they're like, blah, 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 a lot of this stuff, right? The breathalyzer doesn't work. That's ketones leaving the breath. Okay, the best one is that's the one in the bloodstream, and even the one in the bloodstream can be subjective because we can't see what's going on in the cell. So things a step further away, urine, breath, that's not in the body. We want in the body. So with that said, the question posed, and then I'm going to get to, certain things to adapt faster, and then I'm going to take your guys' questions. So the question was posed, do women need more protein, women and especially women, have more of a demand for protein who are doing a ketogenic diet. And here is Keto Gaines, blah, 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 blah. Nothing against the guy, but you blah, blah, blah. And Nora Gagaudis got pissed. She's like, what? No, you don't. No, you don't. But because I love her, but you know, Stephanie is like an athlete. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to be a pro skateboarder. So I said, all right, because Nora was arguing with him, and he was like, but I've worked with 70% of my clients are women, which is true. It seems like more women are doing keto than men, because of weight loss craze. But with that, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me that my battery's gonna die soon? Okay, when it gets down to 10%, I'm gonna go get a cord. But Nora had a hard time to kind of argue with Rob Wolf and the Keto Gaines guy. So I was like, I'm gonna shut this down now. So I was like, all right. I got off the stool. I was like, number one, I'm a woman. So you men talking about women and athletes, shush, shush. And to be honest, Keto Gaines was looking a little thick. Homeboy's looking a little thick, all right? I'm not talking about thick biceps either. I'm talking right here, all right? So I'm like, just shush your mouth. And then I was like, okay, so hold on, guys. I'm almost there. I'm sorry. I'm in my little crazy storytelling zone. So I'm like, first of all, I'm a woman. Number two, I'm an athlete. Number three, I work out 7 days a week and had to pull it back to 6 to get my book written because y'all know I'm writing this book. All right. So I go and I lift. Okay. I lift. And I went from, I didn't just talk in broad strokes like everybody does about keto. I said, here are the numbers. I'm 5'3". I weigh 125 pounds. I went from 60, listen to this is now. But then I went from about 67 grams of protein down to 50. And I gained 15 pounds of muscle. Boom. On keto as a woman in her middle age. And they just shut up. They were like, boom. Because when your pancreas, when your insulin is more stable, that means your body only needs a little bit of insulin to then take the amino acids from the lower amounts of proteins to, hold up here. I haven't done a DEXA scan, no. But you can see, right? It's diffuse lighting, but y'all can see. All right, so, and I'm not vascular, there's no veins, you know, I'm not on any freaking crap that dries you out and dries your skin out, makes you nasty. So, okay, sorry, I'm like getting distracted by the comments. So I was trying to say the reason why I gained the 15 pounds of muscle was because I was doing grass-fed beef 3 times a day. It was a 1.5-year experiment, and grass-fed beef has a lot of creatine in it. So I just got so swole. Like my jackets weren't fitting, my bra tops weren't fitting, my jeans weren't fitting, my jackets weren't fitting. It was insane. So I went up from I was 113 pounds, which you can kind of see in these old ugly ass videos, up to 128 pounds. I was like, oh snap. On less protein, guys. Less protein. I know I'm silly. And so I was like, oh snap. So because I was able to actually give the numbers, they shut up. Trust. Zip it. That's a fact. And you can't say, oh, but you're a young girl, because if I keep my mouth shut and I go to the gym, guys think that I'm like 30, right? Maybe 35 max. But they think I'm in my 30s. Some people think I'm in, because I'm like a beast, right? I'm a beast. I'm crazy. I busted my knee skateboarding, so I do all this other crazy, weird stuff that is really physically challenging. So it's another reason why people assume that I might even be younger than 30 just because of the athletic abilities, right? Thanks. No intermittent fasting. Get rid of it. Intermittent fasting is going to destroy your body, Gina, especially as a woman. Ex-nay on the IF. So I just wanted to let you guys know that once your pancreas is working great and your insulin, it only takes a little bit of insulin to take the protein that you're eating to drive it into the muscle so you will grow, right? And your mTOR pathways are like amazing. All your pathways are amazing. And my GLUT4 receptors are amazing because they're clearing out the glucose. So I'm not going into gluconeogenesis. Now, for 161 people in the chat, you must be like, what is she talking about? mTOR, and she's talking about GLUT4 receptor development and using that glucose and becoming insulin sensitive. And that is how you go into less gluconeogenesis, because if you're not using enough ketones because you're intermittent fasting, and if you're not ketotic enough, the brain will try to get glucose from somewhere, and it will tear skin, collagen, bone marrow, your muscle, mess with your sex hormones, so your brain can get enough glucose to survive, because it doesn't care that you want to look aesthetic. The body's never going to burn fat before muscle. It's always going to burn muscle before fat if you are not ketotic, and that's called gluconeogenesis, right? Your red blood cells, your nervous system, whatever. Point is for the brain, but the point is, if you're not, if you haven't eaten in like 10 hours, your body knows how to go to its body fat and use it, right? It can use it without breaking down the amino acids because it knows how to use ketones. And I've got to get a power cord, you guys, because my phone is going to die. I didn't know I was going to use 60% battery that fast. So hold on one sec. Hold on. Hold on. I don't want a dead battery. Okay. I use my laptop to power this, because all of my I don't know where anything else is right now. I literally just came back from the gym. Oops. And I was like, I gotta do live broadcast before it gets too late. So to plug it into the wall, I don't know where all that stuff is. All right. Okay. So I should drink some water. Okay, so that is the reason why I gained 15 pounds of muscle. It's because I eat grass-fed beef 3 times on less protein. I really get into nice deep REM cycles, so I'm really, really particular about getting to bed around 9:30, because between 9 and 12 midnight, that's when you're having like big release of growth hormone, and that's when your body starts going to this deep ketosis, get my brain straight. The production of ketones via the liver. The liver really knows how to like do its thing, especially the first half of sleep, because the first half of sleep, your body's repairing. The second half of sleep, the brain is preparing. So when you are repairing, so when you're trying to understand the algorithms of people's deep sleep, light sleep, the levels, the REM, like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is REM. To get to deep sleep, which is reparative, you've got to get to the dreams, you got to get to deep sleep, and that's when your body repairs, and it really kicks in between that first 90-minute cycle. And a lot of you guys miss that. You don't connect to the circadian rhythm, but I am so hardcore about doing things as hardcore as possible. Like in the beginning, I was eating nut butters. I got rid of anything that could be inflammatory to the gut, because if your gut is inflamed, you will not adapt, period. So I was like, if I'm going to do this for my entire life, I need to deconstruct before I reconstruct a new plan. And I did that with myself, my mom, and all these people that I've worked with to come up with better conclusions. So it was really, really cool to talk to some of these experts and have them ask me, hey, Steph, what do you think? Because you're actually working with the public, and these people often tend to be like, you know, there are people working with people, but like I'm on Skype, you know, we crying together. They're like, I have been through the emotional, therapist roller coaster ride with clients that I work with. So that's really, really important to understand the mind that wants to get healthy. I think I allowed my battery to get too low. It's not charging very well. But I want to go into really quick the things that make you adapt quicker. So one, it's the circadian rhythm. I'm learning how important it is to, Lord have mercy. I want to really talk about the circadian rhythm, because people are saying, oh, I sleep 8 hours. I'm like, no, you don't. Now people with their Fitbits, which aren't even 100% correct, are coming up with, yeah, I've got 7 hours of light sleep. I'm like, and that's the reason why you look a mess. Okay? You can't have 7 hours of light sleep and like 40 minutes of deep sleep. No wonder you're not adapting. And then you're fasting on top of that. And now your hair's falling out because the thyroid's like, I'm not getting enough ketones. There's not enough glucose. Well, let's just try to get the glucose because that's what I know. So let's just start breaking down amino acids so I don't die. And then let's turn off every single button on the body. I'm like, even like this. I don't even know how much battery life I have. Hold on, guys. We're at 8%. Oh, good Lord. Okay. So that's one thing that's really important. You guys aren't going to bed early enough to even make the stupid ketones. You're not getting enough deep and then REM sleep. So just because you're looking at numbers or I lost weight, but did you lose muscle? Because I just told you guys, I gained 15 pounds of muscle and I didn't know it because I always still had the abs. Always. Right? I always had the abs. I still always had the cuts. So I didn't know that I was gaining any weight on keto, muscle weight, until like my clothes weren't fitting me. So Dr. Berg, I've got nothing against the guy except he's a total snake oil salesman, charlatan, who tries to sell you every product in the world to make $1. Okay? Sorry. You know, he seems like a lovely guy, but he's very, very smart at making money, and I'm not. Because I could clickbait you too. I could tell you that you could follow Stephanie's 90-day program and get shredded on keto. I could do that too. I could come up with shakes and bars and all this garbage. But I don't. Sorry. Proteins broken down, hydrolyzed into a powder. They don't have to be digested with the much digestive properties as real food, which means that your blood sugar spikes more quickly because the protein powders hit in the bloodstream, which puts you into gluconeogenesis, and then your blood sugar becomes very, very, very unstable. So you need to connect to REM sleep. You need to get a glucometer, not a breathalyzer, nor urine strips. You need to see your blood sugar throughout the day. Okay, you need to know what it is fasted because you haven't been doing anything when you sleep at night. Your blood sugar shouldn't be like you've been running from a lion in the middle of the sleep, and a lot of you guys are waking up in the middle of the night because your cortisol's too high. Why? Because your blood sugar's too low. Why? Because you're fasting in the day. Now your blood sugar's unstable. I'm just worried about my camera, my phone dying, and it might, guys. I'm not even lying. I should get to your questions. And another thing is not recipes. No, Gina, it's about clean food. So to get you to adapt, 200 to 300 grams of fat, primarily from animal fat. I don't count what's in the frying pan, and I don't count any MCTs or any coconut oil as your total fat anymore. Because I've had so many people try to adapt on pure MC medium chain triglycerides, and their ketones suck. So I was like, let's get out use the MCTs and the lauric acid in the beautiful lauric acid in coconut oil. But I don't count it as ketotic. I count it as other things. Good past the blood-brain barrier and great for the lauric acid antiviral properties. Yes, keto can reverse insulin resistance. Pretty much 100%. The problem is that people do the wrong application of keto. That's the wrong thing. So get a glucometer, test 2 hours post meals. You can do that once a week. Test your blood sugar fasted early in the morning before you even pee for a month, right? You want your blood sugar to obviously between 69 and 80. You want your ketones to be between a 1.8 and a 3.0. You have to up your fat so the ketones will rise, but they won't rise if you don't get deep sleep. So that's the short of it. Your workouts you have to ramp down so your blood pressure is not high. So you can get your and don't work out late because your parasympathetic nervous system's too isn't kicking in, and you're not being able to hibernate at night, and then your cortisol becomes inverted, and you don't get good ketone production, and that's the reason why people wake up with the early morning dawns effect. We got 170 in the chat, and I know a lot of people have never followed me before on a live broadcast, but if you don't mind giving me some thumb love, it helps more visibility for my videos to get out there that are not monetized. Although I do think that these live broadcasts might be monetized, but all my other videos are not. See, okay, glutamate sensitivity. So a lot of people who are using like bone broth will get headaches because they don't know they have a. Did you say glutamate? Am I reading correctly? Yeah, because they have glutamate sensitivity, right? So the more you cook the marrow, the more glutamate comes out. Now this comes from people who typically have a glutamate sensitivity, monosodium glutamate, like MSG. Yes, the glutamate part sometimes make people get the headaches. So does MSG. So you got to really test a lot of your foods. That's another way to adapt quicker, is to test all your foods to see which foods are bugging you out and not allowing the viability of ketones. Let me see, where do we start? You start with clearing out your kitchen, getting rid of all the carbohydrates, upping your fat to 200 grams of fat, primarily from animal fat. People like butter, but you have to make sure that you don't have a whey or casein sensitivity. So if you do, then butter might be a problem. Then you might have to switch to ghee, or you might have to go to lard, pastured lard. One kidney on keto, I would say yes. I've worked with people who've got kidney issues. Ketoacidosis come from type 1 diabetes who don't eat, diabetics who don't eat enough, or people who've got dengue fever or meningitis. The rest of you, your ketones, insulin will buffer ketones, and ketoacidosis is between like 12 and 19 millimolar, and I've never even seen that. The highest I've ever seen in millimolars, I think, is at 8. So no, your the insulin buffers how high the ketones will go. So what happens when your ketones get too high? They're not being used, so they acidify, right? They acidify because they're rising and rising and rising. The body's like, put it into the cell to be used. Well, I don't know how to get into the cell. There's no insulin, and that's where type 1s, and type 1s can develop ketoacidosis not even touching a keto diet. They just got to eat constantly, right? Because if you don't eat for a long time, you'll produce ketones. And if their ketones get too high, because their body doesn't know how to use them, then they develop ketoacidosis. Or some can. No intermittent fasting. No, intermittent fasting does not get you into ketosis faster. It can produce ketones, but guess what, guys? You're not using them. Yeah, this has been proven over and over and over and over again with all the clients that I work with. Just because you might have the numbers, let me look at the battery life here. Oh, wait. Hold on. Hold on a sec, guys. I'm just trying to make sure my thing doesn't die. Okay. All right. Okay. Videos fell asleep. You fall asleep to my videos? Oh, goodness. I'm too crazy. Endometriosis, that's going to take a while, but women who are developing these growths in their uterus, it's typically from carbohydrates and sugars, and that's why people are using keto for medicinal reasons, but you got to do it the right way, because if you don't adapt, it can bug out your thyroid, it can bug out your body. Beam, I didn't see what you asked, so you have to ask again. What's the best brand of water to drink? I have no idea. Can you have the and autophagy of intermittent fasting? You mean to clear up, like to clear up any type of damage or to clear up any inflammation? No, intermittent fasting. If you intermittent fast, then rest, okay? Because our hunter-gatherers, they rested, they only exerted energy 3 hours a day because they were smart. Well, they were smart. They knew to rest when they were not eating. We don't. We're on our computers, we're at our jobs, we go to the gym, and we're doing fasted cardio? How dumb is that? That's not going to help autophagy. Come on. No. It's going to create more inflammation. Loose stool. Loose stool, yes, probably from leaky gut, holes in the gut wall, right? These junctions in your gut wall are tight. They open up because we've eaten like cereal and, bars and protein shakes and dairy, and, dairy with the whey and casein can poke holes in the gut lining. So yes, loose stool, not the same as floating stool, but it could be from the same leaky gut issue where the gut wall opens up and then things go into the bloodstream. The permeability becomes compromised. My book I'm still writing it. That's a whole nother story, y'all. You'll know. You will not be like, oh, is there a book out? You'll be like, tons of announcements that it's coming out and the pre-sales and all this kind of stuff. No cycling keto. Either do it or don't do it. Don't do it to fit in your wedding dress. Don't do it because you got a photo shoot. Don't do it for any of these reasons. Do it because you want to be like superhuman and you want to optimize your health, and that's it. Okay, doing your keto histamine after weight loss lifting for solids to get blah 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 blah. Still losing your hair. Miriam, you're not doing it the right way. If you're losing your hair, you're probably hypothyroid and you're not getting enough REAP. You can do every little thing I tell you to do right, but if you don't sleep well, if you're not sleeping deep and you can't deal with stress and you're not diaphragmatic breathing and you've got gut issues, yeah, blood sugar 80s, that's too high. Ketones 3 millimolar, and they're not like that every morning, Marianne. And it's not about the numbers. You have to look at your hair falling out. So if your hair is falling out, I beg to differ that you're not using those 3 millimolar ketones. You know, that's where consultations come into play, because a paragraph is nothing to really know the depth. Because there's not been a single person where I didn't know what was going on after actually having a conversation face to face with them. But just saying, oh, my hair's falling out, my numbers are this. No, they're not. Nobody's numbers are that fixed. In 80s, it could be from 80 to 89. And your ketones are never 3 millimolar. They could be 3.5. They can be 3.8. And they could be like 1.6. Let's keep it real. I don't know what your gut is. I don't know if you're farting. I don't know about your menstrual cycle. I don't know how you deal with stress. I don't know what your skin looks like. And all those things matter. Okay, hold on. Women, can thyroid be healed? Efforts incorrect. If you do keto the wrong way, it'll ruin the thyroid. Straight up. Boop. If you do keto the best way, it can help heal hypothyroidism. Because now the reason why you start developing hypothyroidism is because blood sugar's unstable, the body's in an energy crisis, you guys are drinking coffee, you're not sleeping well, and the body's like, well, I'll just turn down T3 because it's just too much effort to make it. Making hair is too much energy, losing weight, getting blood out to the extremities, and pooping is too expensive for the body, so it gets rid of it. So when people are losing their hair, I know that they're not sleeping. Your body's in an energy crisis. Let's see. Calories. No, you don't count the calories. You count the grams, period. Calories not a calorie. That's a BS. Insulin spikes eating 3 or times even. I don't get the insulin spike eating 3 or more what? 3 times a day on keto? That is not, your insulin will always spike in the first 30 to 45 minutes of eating food. That's just the way the body works, but then it's supposed to go down. The blood sugar and the insulin. The best way to do keto is a whole freaking book that I'm writing. Intermittent fasting is not, okay, you do not adapt keto diaries. You should have found my videos a long time ago, because if you're not fat adapted already, see, I can fast because I've been doing this stuff for 10 years. If I don't eat, the body goes whoosh, and I get super lean really, really, really fast. But people have gut permeability problems, y'all. You don't sleep. You're not using the ketones. And I don't care if the numbers are showing that you're making ketones. Anyone who doesn't eat carbs can make ketones. You're not using them. Hey guys, I'm hyper because my battery's about to wear out, and I'm just really paranoid. It keeps telling me over and over again that my thing's gonna die. I'm at 5%. Healing from autoimmune function. Wait, meds. Okay, no. I'm sorry, Brianna. Like, meds are really hard on. I mean, you can adapt, but the liver's overworking because it's having this concentration of chemically processed pharmaceuticals, and it makes your blood sugar spike. I'm not gonna lie, and that's what happens when you work with thousands of people with a glucometer who are on all different kinds of medications, SSRIs and corticotropics, like all this kind of stuff. You start to notice that their blood sugar, they're on thyroid medication or metformin or thyroxine or blah blah blah. 92 milligrams fasting blood sugar is so high, it needs to be between 69 and 80 and not 92. 9:30 East Coast, but it's time for you to go to bed, not Donald, soon. Yes! How can we manage to lose weight on keto? You're not going to be. I will not talk about weight loss. You fix your body. Okay? Let's talk about your body. Sorry, woof. And when you become, sorry, it doesn't actually smell. It's just like water from drinking and talking. Here's the thing, guys. Learn go to the doctor and do an insulin test, okay? Because insulin stores fat. That's what it does. Builds muscle, stores fat. Delivers protein, amino acids into the muscle cell, and it also stores fat. It makes things grow, including fat cells. You want to lose weight? Aspartame is like give you cancer. Girl, what you talking about? No, honey child. No. Stephanie, glucose in the 80s, is that too high? Yes, it's too high. But then your ketones, the glucose and the ketones have to match perfectly. Spitting. Avocado oil, yes, avocado oil is better than coconut oil, and it's better than olive oil, but not better than animal fat like lard or butter. That's a mineral water. You become dehydrated on mineral water because people like drink a liter of it, but like most of it is air. So you can have it, but don't drink it for your water source. You're hungry twice a day. Is that okay? No, it's not okay because keto diaries, you have to get 200 grams of fat in, so you better go and eat more fat. Aspartame is bad, 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 bad. Yes, yes. Ghee is great. Great. My thing's gonna die soon, by the way, you guys. Bad gallbladder. Okay, you need to either do gallbladder flush. You have to research how to do it. I won't do it. I won't be xylitol sugar. Get rid of it. Beets are sugar. Get rid of it. Come on, people. Y'all, this is like basic stuff. Y'all better have just found keto with those questions. Stevia is okay as long as it's pure stevia with no xylitol or rice maltodextrin in it. You're Cassandra funny. 200 grams of fat or higher. Donald, you're a dude. Go higher. I eat about 230 to 240 a day. Sucralose sugar? No. How many carbs? 20 net carbs a day from cruciferous vegetables. That does not mean ketchup and all this weird stuff like that. Any more questions before I go? Because I realize, you guys, my battery's going to run out. And I'm getting really hyper and silly because of that. I don't know about Farmer John lard, so you got to go find out if it's pastured. If it is, go for it. Try cramming the fat, but then you must have a gallbladder. If you guys eat a lot of fat and you feel thick in the stomach and you feel nauseous and you feel bloated, you might have gallbladder sludge or stones, or you may have no gallbladder, which if you don't have a gallbladder, yes, you can do keto on ox bile, chew your food very slowly. You might need to take betaine HCl, like in a cycle, and then get off of it. Pastured pork, you can go to uswellnessmeats.com because I don't know what state you're in. How much protein a day depends. Like everything's got to be under 100 grams. But with men, it tends to be between. It depends if you're a little small dude. You know, if you don't work out and you old, it's gonna be like 60 to 85, maybe 90 grams of protein a day. With women, it tends to be under 60 and not lower than 45. Love you, love the keto benefits. Thank you for the video, much appreciate. Thank you. Time to sleep. Bye, Brianna. Keto Gaines group. I'm not going to talk about Christopher. How about Stephanie's group? I got a keto course go through my. No, you know, Keto Gaines. What I learned from Keto Gaines is that he was kind of chubby here, so that he told people to eat like red apples on keto. I just thought that was weird. You know, he is a guy. Why would somebody say Keto Gaines group? Yo, you in the Stephanie broadcast. That's weird, right? You can go to Stephanie, the business person, my Facebook fan page. It's all free content. Or my YouTube channel. Or my Instagram, which is Stephanie Ketogenic, which is also my Twitter, which I don't use, but who cares? I use Instagram, Stephanie Ketogenic. Or my website, which is stephanieperson.com, and get a consultation, a one-on-one consultation. Or have a keto course group. You can only sign up through it on my website, but that one's a really great group to really learn a lot. Watch my videos, but I haven't in a while. Hold on, oh the comments are coming in so fast. Well, I'm gonna live tonight. Followed your advice. Was feeling great, but off track. Just feel blah blah blah. Well, get back on the little horse. Okay. Let me see, 62 and feeling quite damaged. Don't feel damaged, don't feel bad. We can always, as long as you're still alive and breathing, honey, you can fix the body, yes. Epigenetics, you guys. This is not genetics, this is epigenetics. Okay, have a great night, Pamela. Greek yogurt, no. 10 p.m., decent time to sleep, probably a little earlier. I'm a hot sister. Look, I'm a haplogroup like J and H. I am everything. Oh, you can take to sleep. Breathe, honey. Do some diaphragmatic breathing. Meditate. Get some blue blockers. Take some maybe magnesium glycinate. And thank you. We got 162 likes, guys. And there's 151 in the chat. So you guys really pumped it up and gave me a lot of support, which I really appreciate. Protein for male athletes, one size fits all. No, that's why I said ranges. I said between this and this, under 100. I need to really know the person to know what protein demands they need. You need to know your insulin. You need to know what your blood sugar is because It doesn't matter if you're an athlete. If you got high blood sugar and you're insulin resistant, like if you ate smaller amounts of protein, it's not going to go into the muscle cell very effectively. But with that said, you guys, I better go before my phone dies because I want to make sure that the battery, the cause you're no nonsense. Thank you. How much sleep do I get a night? I get probably about 4 REM cycles, 60-minute cycles, 4 to 5, and I make sure I get 8 solid hours. Period. Deep sleep. Thank you guys so much. For any of those who haven't given me a thumb love, it'd be awesome before so the world can see at large that I may be a little cuckoo on video. I'm actually quite normal in person, but because I get so many questions and my battery's dying, I become a neurotic freakazoid. Having dreams, not sleeping properly. Yeah, that's a whole subject on things. Sleep hygiene, breathing, blue blockers, diaphragmatic breathing, following a circadian rhythm, getting up early, don't allowing yourself to sleep in, managing your blood sugar, don't eat late at night because your body wants to hibernate. It's really, really hard on the digestive tract to eat food late at night. It says putrefying, rancidifying in the gut. And it really creates a lot of inflammation to do that. And you really need high quality food to get because our bodies are like clogged up, and you need to start changing things and rotating things and breathing. We don't breathe. Like, that's a huge one. So thank you guys. Sorry for my spasticness. I tried. You see how fast I was talking? I was like, blah, 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 blah. And people are like, you don't say energy anymore. So guess what? I got some energy. I always have energy. 10 years in ketosis. I'm almost 51. I haven't gone off of my keto diet in 10 years. You guys can see me up close and personal. I got freckles, but that's all that is. Yo, what's up? Skin on point fleek. It was drying up before keto. My mom was like, Steph, what's happening to you? And I was like, oh. So when keto came around, it was just the things like the mental acuity. That's another thing. I need to go into another live broadcast about how freaking your brain is on fire. It's like, boom. Yes, it's amazing. Not really. I just wear like an eyeliner. Like, I don't have any lipstick on, nothing on the, just like eyeliner. I got my eyebrows microbladed. That's it. You want off meds? Yes. Okay, guys. Thank you. This is me at, what is it? This is me at, I used to say, I'm 45, I'm 46, I'm like in my 50s now. Like, what happened to the time, guys? But I really want to I want to inspire people. Sometimes I don't even feel like talking about keto. I just want to talk about life sometimes, about perceptions and how people don't communicate and how they don't look in the eyes anymore. And, I was talking to my friend today about the way his girlfriend is treating him. And I was like, yeah, but you are playing a game with her because you both are this, like, no one wants to be vulnerable. So everybody, like, that kind of stuff is so fascinating to me. Like perceptions, like oxytocin and vasopressin, that men have more vasopressin, or when men have low testosterone, how it affects their mood, and then women don't understand that, and then men don't understand our menstrual cycle. Like, all that stuff is so interesting. Okay, tablespoon of bacon grease, tablespoon. Yo, I'll have 6 for breakfast. Tablespoon, that doesn't do anything. Tablespoon. Talking about 6 for breakfast, and they'll have it all day long. Okay, guys, so thank you. You're insulin resistant, snack between meals. You know what, you guys? I'll just do more videos. I can't do it at the end. I'm worried about my battery actually dying. On what? You love my opinion on your question's incomplete. People need to get their mental, yeah, it's really hard because it's not just here, guys. We're a hormonal mess. Like, all your emotions are indicative of your hormones, and if your hormones are jacked and you're not sleeping enough, and then your testosterone's low or you're estrogen dominant, and you've got all this inflammation and you're cranky, it's beyond keto. I really want to talk about things beyond keto, but I am always here to answer your questions. So thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. I just came from the gym, so this is what I wore today, and I haven't sat down probably in about 5 hours, so I'm getting a little, like, loopy. I should be in a controlled study. Guess those things cost money, and that's why there's not that many controlled studies. Thoughts on blah 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 blah. I'm just saying keto would love to hear what? You'd love to thoughts on your capable you're able to produce. I am something bedtime, can't wait for the book. To the book, where is a snack for school? Snacks, avocados. You could do fat bombs that are just butter, coconut oil. You could do flax crackers, but you don't really need to snack if you eat enough fat. You can do bone broth if you don't have a glutamate problem and add fat to it. Also, fatty teas in a thermos. You can use as fat snacks, not rather than needing to constantly eat something. And if you have enough fat, you will not be hungry. Trust. A lot of people try not to get in the fat because they're like, I'm not hungry. Do I have to eat? Which should be another video. Should you eat if you're not hungry? And my battery is going to die. Thank you guys. It's been an hour and 20 minutes. I told myself I'd only do an hour, but the no grape seed, no seed oil. Seed oils are unstable, guys. They create inflammation. Nope. And I'm out. Yes. Thank you guys. You need a grocery list? You can go to my website. And I'm about to be out. Look at how loopy I am. Very, very loopy. Thanks, guys. Thank you for joining the chats. And until next time, research yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. I just love to do it. No sesame seed oil, honey. It is not stable. Right? I can put on my oh my God, I can put on my so fabulous Kim Kardashian voice, or I can put on my southern black accent, but I was born in LA, so I don't know where that came from. Anyway, bye guys. I really appreciate the 126 in the chat. We went way over. We got 184 likes. Thank you guys, Donald and Julie and Christopher and Emily. Do I count the carbs from erythritol? Erythritol, you don't eat erythritol, and you don't count the carbs in avocados because the fat and the fiber slow down the rate at which the carbohydrate hits the bloodstream. No, but you don't even use Tatols. No erythritol, no maltitol, no xylitol. Get rid of it. Bye, guys. And I'm out. Peace. Thank you. My phone's going to die. Seriously, it's going to die.